Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel and another video. Let's play the intro and we'll get right into it. Yes. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and another video. And it's better late than never as always from me. We got the three games obviously that we haven't done yet to review, and then we got to preview the game tomorrow. So kicking off first and foremost, first game that we missed, arguably the most painful one to discuss first. So we'll get the pain out the way and then go to the somewhat pleasure a bit later on. But yes, Arsenal versus Manchester United in the FA Cup, and Arsenal again in their white kit for this No More Red campaign. And I know this is a great cause and a great benefit to people, but we never seem to win in this kit. I hope maybe next year um, we either get a more favourable draw or we think of another way to support this cause, because this kit is a bad omen. I really feel now that this kit is like a jinx and a hoodoo on the club. Um, I had a bad feeling about this game already heading into it after the loss against Newcastle. And obviously the lineup was changed. Jorginho, he come in for Thomas Partey. Moreno come in for Declan Rice, and Jesus come in for Leandro Trossard up top. Onto the game, and Arsenal, I feel that we had a justifiable goal disallowed wrongfully from Martinelli. It was lovely play from Odegaard and Jesus, and then into Martinelli, but it was called for offside. That was due to them saying Maguire isn't playing the ball. There was no VAR to overturn it, but he definitely. We know what Maguire's like. Maguire's clumsy. He was definitely playing the ball there, and it's another perfectly good goal from Gabriel Martinelli that's been ruled out against Manchester United, and he must think, how hard is his luck, because that's two now that he scored that have been ruled out against Manchester United. But United, they then go 1-0 up through Bruno Fernandes, and after all our chances, it was a very quick transition from them and a brilliant finish from the Man United captain. Dallo, he ended up seeing red for a silly challenge, and it was rightfully so that he got sent off. He's already on a booking and he made a silly challenge like that. So, yeah, he deserved to be off. And Gabriel, he then made it 1-1 with a deflected finish of Kobe Mainu. And Arsenal, again, we were peppering Manchester United to no avail, but just couldn't find the finishing touch on the day. I mean, Arsenal get luckily rewarded after Kai Havertz threw himself on the ground and we got a penalty, which should never have been a penalty. Thank God there wasn't VAR, because this would have been chalked off, because it was never penned in a million years. But Arsenal, the one time that we do get an advantage from the referee, do we take advantage of it? Of course we don't. Martin Odegaard, he missed a penalty, and it was a poor penalty from him. And on the run of form that he's on currently, this just compounded it with this penalty miss, and the United keeper got a huge lift from this moment on from saving that penalty. And he basically got a second wind, which helped them get to the penalty shootout and win the game ultimately. But yeah, Declan Rice and Kai Havertz, they continued to squander chances throughout the game, and the big one being that tap in from Kai Havertz, which he seemed to sky over. I still, watching it back now, I still don't know how he's done it. It's an unbelievable miss from Kai Havertz. But yeah, United held firm. Like I said, they got into extra time and penalties, and I didn't believe at all that Arsenal were going to win it once it got to the penalty shootout. And Odegaard, Rice, and Thomas Partey scored their penalties for us. But Kai Havertz, just again, terrible game, and he hit a terrible penalty which was saved. And United, they scored every single one of their penalties. And David Raya, who everyone on this channel knows, and from other places where I've been and been speaking, I'm full of praise normally for this goalkeeper, but yeah, he turned into Skippy the kangaroo here for this penalty shootout. I've got no idea what he was doing or what he was thinking. And he's been a brilliant goalkeeper normally in penalty shootouts for Arsenal, especially the Porto one. And then he made a great save from Atalanta earlier in the season from a penalty, and then the rebound as well. And again, Arsenal, they go out of another cup early, and like I said, after that Newcastle game, I thought Mikel Arteta normally loses in clusters, and I really, really didn't fancy us in this game, and it still did upset me. I know, obviously, a lot of people may say, "Well, if you didn't think you were going to win, why'd you get upset?" And I think it's just the manner. I can take losing if I feel that everyone's put 100% effort in, and I didn't feel that the effort was 100% there from certain players in this game. And Gabriel Jesus, he picked up a horrible injury in this game, and it was confirmed today that that is a ACL tear, and that's another 9 months on the sidelines for him. I feel, he was potentially a player that probably was on his last legs, pardon the pun, at Arsenal. But with this ACL tear now and the 9 months, I feel that we probably do the same as what we've done with Kieran Tierney, and that we'll rehabilitate the guy, and then if he comes back, we can try and facilitate a move for him once he does come back. But yeah, man of the match for this one. I'm going to give it to Gabriel, and although I thought he was very, very poor for the Man United goal, I thought he showed a real warrior spirit and determination to help us win compared to the other big time players that are in this squad in that game against Manchester United. I thought Gabriel really, really was head and shoulders like he is at set pieces normally. But yeah, he was head and shoulders above anybody on the pitch for me against Manchester United. Moving on to the next game, obviously the North London derby against Spurs, and lineup wise, Moreno and Jorginho come out for this one, and Partey and Thomas Rice come in, and then Sterling got to start instead of Gabriel Jesus. And I thought Arsenal started this game lively, and we started really well in this one. However, as always, we concede first to a goal that's completely against the run of play. I mean, Son hits a shot from outside the box unmarked, and it just clipped Thomas Partey on the way in, and just wasn't no one monitoring the players from outside the box. No one trying to close Son down. I mean, it's Thomas Partey's man to pick up, but if you watch it back, he's got a head start on Saliba, yet Saliba laps him to try and close it down. It's quite indicative of Thomas Partey defensively at the moment. He's showing real frailties as a defensive player currently right now, and we equalised soon after though through Spurs' weakness. Their Achilles heel, which is the set pieces, and we were lucky to get the corner. It was never a corner; it come off Trossard, but again we got it given, and it was another great corner sent in, and Gabriel, he headed it onto Solanke into the goal for 1-1, and it's great to see that Spurs have got a clinical finisher in both boxes. Really, really grateful for Solanke to stick one in there. He's a boyhood Arsenal fan as well, so yeah, he did the right thing. He's always dreamed of scoring at the Emirates, probably, and yeah, he did so. So yeah, well played to him. We then scored another to make it 2-1 through Trossard, and it was a great run and shot from him. And the keeper is absolutely woeful for this one. I mean, this keeper got praised for the two performances that he put in against Liverpool, and then for the game against Tamworth, but he turned into a real Spurs goalkeeper in this North London derby because he was shocking. But yeah, second half we made some good chances but failed to convert. But our lack of squad depth again, such a worrying position for me to be in. I mean, we had Tierney coming on, Kieran Tierney coming on here, and he had to play up front. He had to play as a wide left player. That's really concerning. We're many weeks into the transfer window, and the best that we've got on the wing is Kieran Tierney. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, that's Arteta sending a message to the board. Or a lot of you people say that the Cronkies don't know anything about football. The Cronkies, they just finance the stuff. They don't, pick the players or select the players that we go for. And if that's the case, then I'm sorry, but it's Mikel Arteta that's picked 4 international left backs to be on the bench. It's his decision to not sign players in forward positions, and that's why we're in the position that we're in depth-wise, where we're bringing on Kieran Tierney, who's a player that we want to sell, by the way, to play in a position that he's probably never played in his career. But yeah, anyway, for this one, and I'll put my graphic up here, I picked Gabriel again for man of the match in the North London derby. I thought again he was brilliant, and he stood up for the team when needed. with his spirit and his leadership, which is really important at this current time. I mean, with the current captain, although he got an assist in this game, he's on a real down period of form at the moment, Martin Odegaard, and so they need to be, led by somebody else at the moment because Martin Odegaard for me isn't doing it, and Gabriel is stepping up and leading this team. He really is. He's such a good player. He was for many people last season an unsung hero, but I know he's got the chant now, which is great, and everything else. But he's finally getting his flowers, Gabriel. I think he's been a very, very good player for Arsenal for a few years, actually. I know he didn't start off great, a few red cards here and there, but he's such a solid player. And yeah, he gets my man of the match for obviously the United game and the Spurs game. The next one, Aston Villa. The lineup changed again for this one. I mean, Saliba, he got injured, so Timber was moved into centre back, and then Thomas Partey's moved into right back, and that meant Declan Rice played the 6. Moreno come back in to play the 8, and it was Martinelli, Havertz, and Leandro Trossard up top. And again, thought Arsenal started this game really, really well. Got the first goal by a great play by Trossard, and a great finish by Martinelli. It was helped in by Martinez in the goal for Villa. Second half, Trossard, he played another lovely ball in that was well finished by Kai Havertz, who really needed that goal. Kai Havertz, he got horrible abuse after the Manchester United game, and I saw today that I think he's quite a young lad's been arrested for what he's put on there. Good, that regardless of the age, should be punished for comments like that. Absolutely disgusting. And yeah, we go 2-0 up, and you think Arsenal are cruising, and then all of a sudden, bad Arsenal just decide to show up. And the first goal, it's absolutely awful from Thomas Partey and from Moreno. It's inexcusable, really, from both of them. I mean, Thomas Partey, he's not closing down Luca Dean, and we all know that Luca Dean, all he's got is a cross and a set piece. He's like a French Timu version of David Beckham, Luca Dean. And you allow him to cross it in like that, and then Tielemans, he shouldn't be allowed to score at all against Moreno in that. Moreno, I keep being told this duel monster. He's this animal. He's this great dueling, battling player, and he got completely mugged off by Tielemans for that goal. Just inexcusable from both players. The second, again, Kai Havertz, to not win the ball in the air, not great. But then Thomas Partey, again, terrible. He doesn't take into account where Ollie Watkins is, and it's woeful from him. I know he's not a right back per trade, but he's played there. He's played there for Arsenal enough. He's played there before for his country. I believe he's played there before for Atletico Madrid. And to be that ill-disciplined in a defensive position in games that Arsenal have to win, it's just inexcusable. And again, it goes back to this, sadly, lack of depth, but also we've been really unfortunate this season with injuries. If Ben White was fit, if Tommy Asu come out of witness protection or wherever he is, we wouldn't have to be playing Thomas Partey here. I mean, Thomas Partey was being phased out as a number 6 at this club the last few weeks because he's not signed a contract, and he's now being expected to start in a position that's not his natural position when he was being phased out of his natural position. It's just not a good look at all, and we've been punished for it. I mean, Thomas Partey's played 6 games in the league for us for right back this season, and we've only won one of them, and that was against Southampton, who, let's be honest, we could get 10 of us plus me against Southampton, and I think we'd give them a game. They're absolutely shocking, Southampton. And yeah, Arsenal, we think we've got it to 3-2 after Moreno's shot is deflected into Havertz, but it does hit his hand, and it's a handball, and it's another draw for Arsenal. And the man of the match for this one, I'm going to give it to Leandro Trossard. This is a guy that I've dug out quite a bit on here the last few weeks. I don't think that he's been a team player at all. I think he's been very selfish in the way that he plays. But the last 2 games, he's got 2 assists and a goal in his last 2 starts. So if this is the start of him hitting some form, I'm all for it, because right now, especially in that forward line, we need goals from everybody that we can get. I was glad Martinelli got a goal. I was glad that Trossard got a goal against Spurs. But yeah, for him to contribute, not just scoring wise, but assist wise, that is a massive, massive plus for us. So hopefully this is some kind of resurgence from him. I hope so. But I think a few of us have been we've been stung with these purple patches that Jesus goes through, Martinelli goes through, Havertz goes through. It's just we need somebody who, like Saka, was just consistent every single game. With him being absent, we need somebody that is absolutely consistent, non-stop for this side. But yeah, that's the games that obviously we've missed. Going into tomorrow, Dinamo Zagreb in the Champions League. I'm very, very confident about this game. They've conceded 13 goals in the 6 Champions League game that they've already played. So I think we should be, really, really G'd up for that. I think hopefully we can score some goals early and then rotate, knowing that we've got Wolves at the weekend. And talking of rotation, that leads me into my lineup. So I've got David Raya, obviously, in goal for this one. Yuri and Timber at right back. I've picked Kivior and Gabriel together. Now, I know that Arteta doesn't like playing the 2 lefties, but I don't want to see Partey at right back anymore. I know it's Dinamo Zagreb and everything else. I do not want to see Thomas Partey at right back anymore. So, I mean, I'd love for Timber to get a rest, but that's not going to happen. So, play Kivior, play Gabriel. Calafiori was back in training today, and he said he can play. So Calafiori, I would play. I'd rest Miles Lewis Skelly. I think Lewis Skelly, he's done 390 minutes plus in a row. So I would rest him. For me now, he is our starting left back. So Calafiori is basically the backup left back. So Calafiori, in you go for this one. I'm going to sit Partey out, even in the middle, and put Jorginho in for this, with Rice and with Martin Odegaard. And then in the front three, Ethan Nenweri was back in training today as well. That's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'll chuck him in. He can go straight back in. Trossard, I'm keeping in just for the run of form that he's on. And yeah, just Kai Havertz, because we've got no other real recognised number 9 there. So yeah, that's what I would do for tomorrow. And I'm going to predict a 3-0 Arsenal win tomorrow. I'm going to back us to win 3-0. But yeah, just quickly before I wrap up, the transfer stuff, really, really complicated, really difficult situation, because normally I can sit here and I can think of certain players. I don't have a clue what Arsenal are going to do at the moment. It looks as though with Cunha, it's quite interesting. Seems to be like the Trossard situation beforehand, of a player that's a bit disgruntled and a bit upset at his current club. Had a bit of a ding dong with the manager, and now that's going to force the move and force a player potentially into Arsenal's lap. Now, is Cunha a forward for me that can win or push Arsenal onto a title? Can he score enough goals before the end of the season to win Arsenal a title? I'm not 100% sure, but he's definitely an option that I feel Arsenal need. There was the sensible transfers video by the Athletic that come out that I watched. Quite a fan of those, especially when they do them about Arsenal. And they talked about players in the Premier League that scored goals from very, very low XG. And my favourite, Brian Mbuemo, I think was second to Cunha, who was top. So that's what we need at Arsenal. We just need somebody who's not going to potentially look for the safer option of that sideways pass, or cut back, try and cut in, cut back, cut in, cut back. They're just going to take the shot. Just take the shot, see what happens. And Cunha definitely does that. And you never know, if you surround Cunha with better players, he may step himself up, because he's doing brilliant numbers at a very, very poor Wolves side. So if you surround him with better talents and better players, you never know what's going to happen. I still see the Sesko links. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen in January. But there's plenty of players and forwards that Arsenal have been linked to that would all do the job. So fingers crossed that we get one, and we'll see what happens from there, and we'll talk about it on here as soon as they sign. We'll definitely get a video together. But yeah, right, I've done nearly 20 plus minutes here by myself. There's no one, sadly, in the chat asking any questions or anything. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Just keep it short and sweet as per. And I will be back with another, hopefully, long form video with a panel as soon as possible. So, yes, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody that subscribes, that likes, that interacts with me via this channel, via Twitter. And yeah, take care. Enjoy the game tomorrow. And I will speak to you the next time we get together. All the best. Peace.